ready? Okay. So the time being 6:30 p.m, I declare the Ordinary Council meeting of 27 February 2024 open. Persons in the gallery are advised that under the Local Government Act 1993, a person may not tape record the proceeding of a meeting of a council or committee without the authority of the council or committee. Tape record includes a video camera and on an electronic device capable of recording speech. Mobile phones must be turned off so as not to disrupt the meeting. Can everyone check their phones, please? Anyone, including councillors, found using a mobile phone will be told to leave the meeting immediately and for the duration of the said meeting. An audio recording of this meeting will be taken for minute-taking purposes as authorised by the Local Government Act 1993. This meeting is live streamed on Council's website to allow the community to follow Council debates and decisions without the need to attend meetings in person. Members of the public attending or speaking at the meeting agree to have their image, voice and personal information, including name and address, recorded and publicly broadcast. Strathfield Council does not accept liability for any defamatory remarks or inappropriate comments that are made during the course of the meeting. Any part of the meeting that is held in closed session will not be streamed. Councillors and members of the gallery, please note that the microphone for streaming purposes is very sensitive and will record all sounds in the room. The mayoral diary for December 2023 and January 2024 and expenses claimed by all councillors have been tabled for your information as per Resolution 147/19. Councillors, in accordance with the mandatory provisions of the Model Code of Conduct, I remind councillors of the obligations to which you swore by taking the oath or affirmation in that you will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of your ability and judgment. I'd like to take a moment now to welcome everyone back to the Council chamber and acknowledge the refurbishment with state-of-the-art technology. And I'd like to thank the staff who worked tirelessly to have this ready for our first meeting in 2024. I'd also like to advise everyone in the chamber that the new microphone is extremely extensive. Now, the reason why we had to say that twice is because it's extremely sensitive and will pick up even a whisper of a conversation. So please be aware as it's all being live streamed. So now let's stand for the prayer. We pray that our deliberations today will be objective and decisions are impartial and made for the benefit of the whole community. And in recognition of our traditional custodians, let us begin by acknowledging the Wangal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. So I have an apology for lateness from Councillor Blackmore. He should be here within 30 minutes. And do I have any disclosures of interest, councillors, for any of the items on the agenda? What's your disclosure?
In respect of item P2, I own land within the affected area, which is my primary place of residence. I will leave the
You'll leave the meeting?
Yep.
Thank you. Councillor Dado?
I have a declaration to make that I'm not sure my property where I live may or may not come under this particular consideration, but I will be staying here and participating in any strategic
discussion. Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor Biddy?
CCS 13. I know the others involved for the small pets, so I'll be leaving the room.
Okay, Councillor. Thank you.
Mine is PE1 and PE2. We leave property in the area, so I'll be leaving the room.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Chai?
I think relating to the PE, maybe PE1 as well, PE4, I haven't put it in, and the PE1 may be related as well, and the PE4 and the PE5. Okay.
1, 4 and 5?
Yeah, because I'm the resident located in the PR cards area.
It's called Todd now, councillor. It's changed. But thank you very much. So I believe we have 5 acknowledgements. So I will start with Councillor Data. Thank you, councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to acknowledge the celebration of Pongal by members of the local Tamil and Indian subcontinental communities, led by Strathfield Australians of Indian subcontinental heritage and the Sri Vinayak Temple of Bombush West. This was the second year of the celebration. Pongal is a festival of harvest festival, and this celebration, this Pongal celebration is takes place all across Indian subcontinent. Like in Bengal, it is called Poush Sankranti. In Punjab, it is called Lohri, and it is called Makar Sankranti in UP, Rajasthan, and northern India. The local communities celebrated all of these events together. In fact, in my view, it was a celebration of Australia's unity in diversity. The Strathfield Council was the first council. Strathfield Council was the first council in New South Wales to support such a celebration of unity in diversity. May I also acknowledge the Strathfield Council, Mayor and the councillors, all councillors and the officers for supporting, being such proactive in supporting this celebration. This celebration has been possible for the cooperation between Strathfield Council, Shaish and the Sri Vinayak Temple. I believe through this support of Strathfield Council Strathfield Council is directly contributing to the transformation of Strathfield into an increasingly more integrated, harmonious and inclusive community. I would again like to thank all the participants, including the Sri Vinayak Temple, Shaish, and the officers in the council and all councillors for supporting this celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. Councillor, is that it?
4.
Oh, you've got 4.
4.
So we've got 9.
9, is it? Okay, thank you. I think it's a good thing.
Okay.
I would like to acknowledge the celebration of Saraswati Puja that was celebrated by Indian subcontinental community and the Bengali community in the town hall a couple of weeks ago. For those who may not know, Goddess Saraswati is the goddess of learning. It was from Goddess Saraswati that the Indian subcontinental community learned the relationship between environment and the humanity. So they created 10,000 or more years ago a god of rain, a god of fire, a god of sun, a god of wealth, and many other gods up to 33 crores. It all reflects their knowledge and experience about how uniquely our human beings are related with the environment. So every environment they respected, they created a god. And today we are calling it environmentalism. So once again, I appreciate the council supporting it, helping it, and the officers who were there to support it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor.
I next would like to acknowledge the celebration of Lunar New Year by the Flemington Chamber of Commerce.
Councillor Data, I think Councillor Chai will be doing that.
I think we may have different ways of acknowledging the performance.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Thank you. I would like to acknowledge the celebration of Lunar New Year by the Flemington Chamber of Commerce at the Flemington Shopping Precinct. the unique nature, and not only Flemington Shopping Precinct, but also in this council, later the same day at night. The unique nature of this celebration was that it was celebrated in collaboration with the representatives of various communities, not just a celebration of the Chinese or Asian communities. And this was unique. This was unique because it reflected that the celebration of Lunar New Year is not only a celebration of the Asian communities in Australia. It is a celebration that is being adopted as a celebration by all Australians. There are leaders of various temples. There are leaders from the Indian subcontinental communities. There are leaders including from the Nepalese communities, from the Tamil communities, and various others. Such a inclusive celebration is a manifestation of Australia's respect for unity in diversity that is probably more emphasized by the new Australians who are coming to this. In Australia, our diversity is reflected in our backgrounds, as we can see in this chamber, by our looks, by our accents. But our unity is also at the same time represented by our love of Australian democratic framework, by our love for Australian Constitution, by our love for the approach to fair go. Our diversity is reflected in the various names of the gods that we pray to, like Tian, or Shangdai, or Lord Buddha, or Lord Jesus, or Lord Rama, or the languages that we use to say our prayers in: Chinese, English, Bengali, Tamil, etc. But our unity is also represented by the prayers we say. It is regardless of what language we use, it is always for our own well-being or our communities or our loved ones' well-being. The reason being, we are also united in one particular aspect, fundamental aspect of life, that is, we all suffer from the same dualities of life, like birth and death and pleasure and pain. So, I would like to thank the Flemington Chamber of Commerce for promoting this unique celebration of unity in diversity. I would like to thank the mayor and the councillors for supporting this celebration being held for the first time ever in this council town hall, and the officers, including the GM, for his support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Next one.
The last acknowledgement I have today was acknowledging the celebration of Lantern Festival by ACCA and its president, Mr. Robin Hu. And I am very pleased to say that I was glad that it happened in Strathfield Town Centre. It's a unique event. And the Lantern Festival is really a festival to celebrate your ancestors. So I think through this celebration, we are also creating in Australia an ancestry of multiculturalism. And the uniqueness of this celebration is also reflected by the fact that in this Lunar New Year, which is the year of the dragon, let's remember what the dragon represents. The dragon was one of the animals who participated in the race. But what it did was it stopped in the middle and then started helping all the other 9 animals who were running in the race, instead of him focusing on winning the race. So I can only hope that with the example of the dragon, learning from the culture of the Asian Australians, you would learn to become a bit more loving and caring of each other, more accepting of each other, more proactive for building an increasingly more integrated, more equal, more prosperous, and more multicultural Australia, rather than focusing on just ourselves, regardless of the principles of unity in diversity. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Chai.
through the Madam Chairs and all our members of the Council, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and extend my heartfelt wishes to those celebrating the Chinese New Year,
Lunar New Year.
also known as Lunar New Year. As what the Councillor Rajdatta said, he acknowledged already the Chinese New Year was held in the Homes West, and also 2 days ago was Lantern Festival in the square of Strathfield, but this one all part of the Lunar New Year.
Correct, thank you.
May this auspicious occasion bring prosperity, good health, and joy to all. The cultural significance of this celebration highlights the rich traditions and the values that contribute to the diversity within our community. Wishing everyone a happy and fulfilling Lunar New Year. Lunar New Year is celebrated not only in China, but also in many countries around the world. It is a testament to the global nature of the festival and the culture diversity that enriches our communities. As we acknowledge the Lunar New Year, also known as Lunar New Year, let's embrace the unity in diversity and appreciate the shared joy that transcends borders during this festival season.
Wonderfully said. Thank you, Councillor Chai. Councillor Maheswaran. Oh, sorry, Councillor Wall, do you have an acknowledgement?
Please.
Age first. I would just like to stand to acknowledge the new Italian Consul General, Mr. Gianluca Rubagotti. He took up his post in January of this year. A very learned man indeed, with a degree in international law from Brescia University, a master's degree in environmental law from Milan University, and a PhD in international economic law from the University of Milan. He has been a lecturer, working as a teacher in France, Egypt and Ethiopia. And his last post, with a lot of other posts as well, but his last one was Consul General of Italy in Kolkata. And so I would like to congratulate the new Consul General of Italy.
We have a reception coming up.
I believe that we are going to meet him very, very soon.
Yes, thank you.
Tell you that we met before, I come from Calcutta.
Thank you, councillors. Councillor Maheswaran.
I should say, Mr. McQuaid, I will provide you with a written copy shortly. The acknowledgement is on the progress of Strathfield Council in the areas of planning, as well as an apology. I rise to acknowledge the progress that has been made by Council in this term under its new direction after the sizeable electoral swing to the New South Wales Labor Party in the last council election. It is a fact that in the previous term, this chamber was dominated by the Liberal Party and independents, and the results were dire. Large swathes of this area were designated for redevelopment by the previous Liberal state government under the promise of infrastructure which never eventuated. Despite the rapid pace of this development, Council did not have a special contribution plan to tax this development to provide for social and community infrastructure. Council did not respond by strategically rezoning the area to provide for these needs either. It did not articulate a vision for the Strathfield Town Square, the centre of our community. Rather, it approved on an ad hoc basis a mismatched and disjointed set of developments which has left a great part of this area scarred and underserviced for a generation. This damage cannot be underdone. Today, the story is very different. Council is embarking on a strategic exercise in coordination with the state government for a master plan that is a strategic vision to provide for housing, jobs and commercial opportunities in the obviously appropriate places nearby to our transport nodes while protecting our residential communities from overdevelopment. The Strathfield Town Centre Working Group, described as highly conflicted by Council's own review, has been binned, and there is a transparent and community-focused process being undertaken. During the previous term of council, there was no prohibition on informal lobbying. That is, a councillor could be lobbied by people of influence, including former politicians or local political power brokers, without having to declare that occurred. The danger of this has been made all too clear on other councils. At my behest, council now has the most stringent disclosure rules in the state, disclosure rules which other councils have adopted, and that the Office of Local Government proposes to roll out similar rules across the state. We are, for the first time, ahead of the curve. Compare this to when, in the last term of council, council advanced a proposal to rezone vast swathes of the industrial land in Strathfield South to high-density residential development in a place with very limited transport under the pretense of widespread public support. In truth, this move was uniformly opposed by the residents of that area. This discussion may seem ephemeral, and councillors should stick to promising to repave people's driveways, but in truth, it is the most long-lasting and impactful decision council will make. All these changes have come at some point at the initiative of the new term of council, proposals that I and other councillors have initiated, and with the support of the people in the area who also support the New South Wales Labor Party and an agenda for reform. There are those that had the opportunity to do something about this and did nothing, or worse yet, went along with a broken system. Done right, we will have a vibrant and well-planned community with opportunity for all. We do not need to look far. We do not need to look far to see what it looks like when this is done wrong. And when it goes wrong, it affects people's lives in ways you cannot imagine. I've spoken at length previously about the mental distress and hardship created by council advancing the inappropriate high-density rezoning of the industrial area at Water Street. But one only needs to turn to Centenary Park, the residential community, to see planning failure. Forget that this development was approved in a way that has led to an open-air garbage pit in the middle of one of our suburbs. And forget that it was built with no ready plan for pedestrian access to nearby stations.
Fire truck.
In the middle of this place, built with no concern for public space, there is open land that has been chain-linked for decades. It looks and feels like an oval or a football field, but it is a former waste dump that a residential community has been built around. The Sydney Morning Herald has said that it is suspected that chemicals could spread from the dumping ground into the surrounding community, and the site is now subject to continual monitoring. Is this an acceptable risk for some 2,000 residents that live around this former toxic dump? I have only one question, which is whose idea was it to build a residential community next to a toxic dump, and why didn't anyone stop it? The risk of this happening again today is so utterly low. I believe it is undeniable that due to actions that were taken in this term of the council, that planning is now done in Strathfield Council in a strategic, accountable and transparent way. This not only benefits the residents and those who wish to do business in this area, but it will create a future for this community. It is a job that I and others were elected to do, and that is what I have endeavoured to do. It has been brought to my attention that I may have made people feel uncomfortable, bullied or intimidated. For that, I'm sorry, and if any such person has felt that way, please accept my sincerest apologies.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Hall. Oh, you've done yours. Councillor Reddy.
First of all, I'm very happy to see everyone back, and I'm very proud to announce that I have formally joined the Liberal Party of Australia, and hereby I am to be considered as a Liberal councillor on Strathfield Council. I part ways with Strathfield Independence Party. With all due respect, I thank Councillor Blackmore, who is absent here, for being a mentor and for being a good friend to me. I wish to work along with my fellow councillors for the betterment of local residents and not to politicalise our commitment towards our residents. Peace.
Thank you, Councillor Reddy. Always peace, Councillor Reddy, always. And the last one, my acknowledgement, is for International Women's Day. On March the 8th, 2024, let's celebrate International Women's Day. The theme for this year is to inspire inclusion. And as an organisation and a representation of our community, I think we should commit to advancing women's economic empowerment, focusing on recruiting, retaining and developing female talent, supporting women's and girls in leadership, decision-making and business, and in the STEM fields, designing infrastructure that meets the specific needs of women and girls, empowering women to make informed decisions about their health, and to provide access to quality education and training for women and girls. We welcome the statistics that we have here in Strathfield, and we're very proud to say that our executive team make up of 80% of female in all areas of our STEM and what's the word on the planning and administration management field. And across our senior leadership, representation is at 55%. So we're doing a great job here at Strathfield, and I want to make that clear. It's about merit-based. It's about the people who do the job best. And I think with our general manager, and as he said to me today, you know, if that person is female, male, or whatever, if they're the person to do the job, they should get the job. And I think that's the situation that's being taken here. And I think we are going forward at a very good rate at the moment. And as Councillor Maheswaran said, we are moving fast in the field of planning to make this place a better place for everyone. So let's hope Strathfield can be an example for other organisations and where women and girls are employed and paid equally. Thank you very, very much. All right. So going back to the council agenda, councillors, that was how long for the acknowledgements? Yeah, I think there is a clock.
These are very, very nice.
Yes. So we need confirmation of minutes for 2 minutes, councillors. 2 sets of minutes. We need the ordinary council meeting December 5, 2023. Can I have a mover for that? Councillor Reddy, seconded by Councillor Hall. And a call for the vote. All in favour? 1 moment, councillors. Is that right, Mr McQuaid? Is it up on the screen? Yep. Voting for, yes. So I call for the vote. All in favour? Thank you. The extraordinary council meeting of December 15, 2023. A mover, Councillor Maheswaran, seconded by Councillor Data. Call for a vote, councillors. All in favour? Thank you. Now there's just one Merrill minute, and I think you've had a chance to see it because it's in your business papers, and I would assume that you've all read it. Yes. And it's pretty straightforward, councillors, in regard to the cost shifting from the state government to councils and the federal government in regard to how much councils have to put out and how much fee structure that we're being received. And we're going to make note of the findings of the New South Wales cost shifting report, and that it'll be placed on the council's website, and that council writes to the Premier and the Treasurer of New South Wales and the Minister for Local Government, seeking that they urgently seek to address the cost shifting through a combination of regulatory reform, budgetary provision and appropriate funding. So, Nella's face. Do I need a seconder? No, I don't need a seconder. All in favour?
No, I want to speak.
Oh, you need to speak. Oh, sorry. Anyone want to speak on that? I'm out of practice. It's been a long time.
I'd like to thank the Mayor for this motion because, and I'd actually like to acknowledge Councillor Beth Banner and myself in the long road many, many years ago that we actually acknowledge, we actually were one of the first to acknowledge, to tell the residents, to warn the residents that this was coming, if you recall.
Mm-hmm. I do, yes.
So we were, for many years, we brought this to the attention of residents in Strathfield. We saw this coming, we knew this was coming, and we were the first ones out there in the community telling people that this is where it was headed. Cost shifting was always where the state and federal governments were heading, and I absolutely think that this is a great motion, and I look forward to writing to the Premier and everybody else that needs to, in the government, that needs to make sure that this is taken into consideration, and all that's going to happen is the residents are the ones that pay.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone? Councillor Data.
I also congratulate you, Madam Mayor and Nila, but if you go back to the history, you
Councillor
will
Hall.
see, yes, sorry, Madam Nila Hall, Councillor Nila Hall. In 2013, in this chamber, I moved a motion on cost shifting. It's in the record as well. So I had that in mind. So you must have been sitting there.
We were sitting there all the time.
Good, great. So it has been a long-standing issue, and I do agree that this should be put on the front desk again, not in the back burner. It has been a major issue. It impacts the capacity of the council to provide its services, particularly in a situation where how much we can charge is bounded by IPART, based due to the values of lands and all this properties and all that. So thank you, congratulations.
Thank you, Councillor. So, all in favour? Unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. So we go now to number 8, items of exception, by exception. And I'm going to go through the notices of motion and reports to council, and we'll go through one by one, see which one we're going to push through as bulk and which one we're going to discuss. So we'll start with 10.1, Pickleball Court in Strathfield. Take it through. Thank you. 10.2, Australian Constitution Amendment, Local Government Funding and Council Election. Put that through. 10.3, Private Certification, Planning and Development, Councillor Data. Thank you.
Do you want to take that one out?
Do you want to talk to that one, Councillor?
It's a report, that's okay.
All right. 10.4, strategies to increase...
Take it out.
You're scared. 10.4.
A small question, not to get a heart attack.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. GMU1, Delivery Program Report.
No, please.
You want to take that out?
Yes, please. A small thing.
Okay.
Photo put in.
GMU2, Stratfield Business Summit. I'll leave that in. GMU3, Sister City Gapyeong Visit. You need to talk about that, Councillor. CCS1, tenders advertised and awarded November 23. CCS2, current status of council resolutions. CCS3, I said that wrong. Councillor Workshop, 11th of December. Councillor Workshop, 6th of February. Councillor Workshop, 13th of February. CCS6, OLG Guidelines for Risk Management and Audit, Internal Audit. CCS7, Adoption of the Graffiti Management Policy. CCS8, Dissolution of Strathfield Libraries and Museum Trust. CCS9, Investment Report. CCS10, Quarterly Budget Review Statement. CCS11, I think we need to talk about that, yeah. CCS12, Finance Related Policies. CCS1, Stratfield Council Small Grants.
That's going to come out.
It's got to come out.
You have to take it out because I need
Okay. That's all right. PE1 we have to take out as well. PE2. Infrastructure Contributions Review, PE3. Leave in. Strathfield Local Planning Panel, PE4. You want talk about that, councillor? P5, New South Wales Government Transport Orientated Development Program. EO1, Draft Vehicle Crossing and Associated Works Policy. Mr McQuaid, P5's got to come out. Thank you.
I have a question on EO1.
EO1, we'll take that out. Do you want me to take it out, councillor? Yes. So EO1 is out. Thank you, Mr McQuaid. Okay. Draft Procurement Policy, EO2. Report from Traffic Committee, 12.1.
Is there a minutes for February?
We didn't have one. In January.
No, February.
Yes, we've got. It's not ready yet.
They're not ready yet.
It's because of the change in the meeting time.
Bit of the next meeting.
It'll be at the next meeting, councillor. Report from the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee, 12.2. Report from the Multicultural and Diversity Advisory Committee, 12.3. And the closed session CCS1 confidential update. Is that through? Thank you very much. All right, I need a mover for that, councillors. Councillor Hall, seconded by Councillor Chai. All in favour? Thank you. We don't have anyone here to speak tonight. No one wants to give up a song and dance for the forum? No? No one wants to talk? Only joking. You'll always talk, Aruna. So, what?
10.4.
10.4.
We don't have a mover. Councillor Blackmore was the motion that he got.
Yes, we're going back to that. The councillor Data wanted to pull it out.
Yep, so you're going to have to
We might have to.
next
We might have to transfer that to the next meeting. Okay, so because Councillor Blackmore's not here, Mr Memo, we're going to transfer the tree canopy report to the next meeting. Can that be done?
You can consider it if you wanted to.
Yes.
Well, you can move to defer.
I think we should move to defer to the March meeting. All in favour?
Can we not just deal with it today?
Well, the mover's not here, councillor.
Not here.
Anyone can.
I can move it.
What do you want to do, councillors? Do you want to deal with it today?
It's a report, I will move it.
Okay, so we'll move 10.4. Moved by Councillor Hall, seconded by Councillor Reddy. Do you want to speak to that, councillor? Councillor Reddy, do you want to speak to it? No, she doesn't want to. Anyone else want to speak onto that? Councillor Schrangen, my hand's from.
I recall this time last year, a group of eco-terrorists, also known as councillors in Strathfield, decided to approve a tree lopping plan in which a great many of trees, including border trees, would be allowed to be cut down. And now we're going to turn around, and I'm talking about all six of you, and try to improve the tree canopy. One great way to improve the tree canopy is not to cut down trees. Thank you.
Oh, but you know what? I will speak to it, yeah.
Hang on 1 second, Councillor Hall. Councillor Dada?
Yeah. The question, I think Councillor Mashan, thanks for mentioning that, because that is one of the things I was going to ask, that why suddenly we are considering that Strathfield is one of the councils, the tree canopy went down because we chopped it. So, but that is, having that been said already, the other question is there a statistic saying that are we the only council, or we are the worst council that happened to, or what is the ways to improve the condition? Is there any answer through the chair to the
Chair to the General Manager or to Director of Engineering and Operations? Thanks, Ms Edward Davis.
Through the chair, The Sydney Morning Herald article looked at a number of local government areas across Sydney. Some increased their tree canopy and some decreased. The report, the notice of motion clearly calls for a report on strategies to increase tree canopy. That would need to be a combination of on both private and public lands.
Thank you. Councillor Hall?
This actually is a loaded motion. So while I do recognise that we did introduce some other measures that were rightly so. 50 centimetres from the foundations of a house that were destroying a house is actually good policy. People were, I was called so many times to houses where the foundations, where all sorts of things were just destroyed for trees that, trees that were there when Captain Cook arrived, and then you build a house, next to it is not a great idea. But in saying that, we do have a policy that when a tree is removed, how many more have to be planted in its place? That's a question that I'd like to put through the chair.
Through the chair, to the General Manager.
I think we'd have to take that one on notice.
What's the policy? Is there a policy?
Through the chair. It's site specific, so usually it's 1 for 1, but sometimes it's 2 for 1. It does depend on the site and the nature and quality of the trees that are being removed.
So there we go. So we do have a policy where a tree is removed because it is dangerous or it's damaging to property, it is replaced. In saying that, the policy that we do have is that these trees are replaced with appropriate trees and not trees that are damaging property. So I think we do have council officers, and I think council in general did introduce a very good policy. We do have a policy that keeps our canopy certainly in a state of where it should be. However, in saying that, there have been a lot of storms and a lot of branches have come down. If you drive through Strathfield, I'm ringing the rangers saying that a large branch has come down, and then we saw that huge tree that came down at the daycare centre, if we all remember that. A humongous tree just fell in the back of in the backyard of a childcare centre, and the only reason that no one was injured was because it was a rainy day. Speaking to some of the mothers, it was a rainy day, so the children happened to be inside and not playing outside in the backyard. Had they been outside in the backyard, it would have been an absolute disaster. So a humongous tree just up and destroyed and fell over into a childcare centre. So in saying that, we do need to be mindful, but also I do understand that there are gaps in our municipality that probably would need some, like there are some footpath trees that probably could be, there are some gaps in there of some trees that have died because of weather, because of dryness, whatever it is. So while I recognise that we could fix those little gaps, I do believe that council has done the right thing in trying to keep our canopy up there by one and ensuring that we have appropriate trees. And I love flowers, and we have trees with flowers.
Thank you, Councillor.
Madam Mayor, if I can.
Sorry? Oh, you would like to? I don't know whether you can, Councillor, but I will give you this moment to...
Let him talk.
Thank you. Yeah, I really do appreciate Councillor Hall bravely speaking for the motion, particularly when the mover of the motion is not here. I appreciate that. But I also think that the reduction of canopy is totally not related to some of the things that Councillor Nilal articulated regarding the trees in the vicinity of the wall and all that. I think there could be other, or the particular one tree that might have fallen over because of the wind. I think there might have been some other causes. I do not know which contractor was employed to chop the tree canopies, but I think that might have contributed something. But also, I think the other thing I understood from the director, that I think they are going to prepare a strategy on how to increase the canopy. I just wanted to reconfirm that my understanding is correct, that there is, this thing has been, it is before us. Now the officers are going to look at it and develop a strategy on how to increase the canopy. And I'd also use this opportunity as a proper reminder that in the future, when we think of vandalizing the canopies, we should think not twice, 3 times. It was a bad idea. Thank you.
I think there was an odds grid problem, Councillor Data. I think they attacked our trees without our permission and cut down a lot of our canopy through the wires down our main streets, which was a real problem. I think also too, we've done for the first time in a very long time tree trimming in our area to maintain our trees, and our trees are now being upgraded to become healthier and better for the community, and so we will have more tree canopy once these branches are grown and are healthier to our trees. And in regard to the policy about trees being knocked down, I think I can count on one hand how many trees have been allowed to be chopped down with that policy. So, you know, it's still very difficult to get a tree taken down in Strathfield, and I think that's the way it should be, because that's one of the highlights of living in this area is our tree canopy and our beautiful street lines. So, thank you for that. So I'm going to put, do you need to speak on this, Councillor Reddy? So I'm going to put the motion, forward. All in favour of this motion? Unanimous. Thank you so much. Okay. Right, so we go now to GMU1. Thank you. Thanks, Rob. If you came to workshops, you would know who they were. Just to say. GMU1 delivery program progress, page 57. I need a mover for this, councillors. Councillor Data, seconded by Councillor Reddy. Anyone need to speak on this? Councillor Data?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I must commend the current management and particularly the GM, because I know that twice I have raised that matter in this council chamber, and because I believe that of our 65 million budget, most of our money is spent on managing various programs, and from the first day I came, I could see that the reporting framework is not adequate, and I have moved 2 motions on that, and I was never successful to get the support of all the councillors for unknown reasons, never explained to me, but some officers did tell me that they need to build more competence into it. So besides that, thank the current GM to take that over and putting some efforts into developing the framework. I think this is very, very important for the simple fact that if we cannot manage anything unless we measure it, and the way we measure our deliverables, program deliverables, are not simply adequate. So I congratulate and I look forward to seeing it being completed, and I'll be happy to have a copy of how it is being developed.
Thank you, Councillor. I'm sure you'll get, you are a councillor. So I put it, anyone else need to speak, councillors? Councillor Hall?
I think we should have an amendment that on page 66, Councillor Maris-Warren and I be photoshopped into that photo.
It's 66.
I had a really good reason that I couldn't be there because I had to rush to hospital.
Where?
With my husband. I don't know what his excuse was, but I'm being facetious.
Right. So anyone else wish to speak on the motion, councillor?
It's being photoshopped, is it?
Photoshopped, is it?
Yes, definitely being photoshopped, and I'll send you all a photo tomorrow. Are we all happy?
Yes.
Thank
You
you.
have a keen eye.
Thank you all. Councillor, you were there. Councillor Hall.
I was there, but I had to leave early because that's when my husband was not
Yes,
well.
you were. I don't remember where Councillor Maheswaran was. Anyway, all in favour of GM? You won.
Amendments.
Thank you very much. I call that unanimous vote. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is page 118, GMU3, Sister City Gapyong visit. I need a mover for that. Councillor Data, Councillor Data moves it, Councillor Reddy seconded. Sorry, Ben, it was already in my ear. Right, who wishes to speak on this? Who pulled it out? Councillor Data.
Just a small note, Madam Mayor, is we are here. I mean, I really love these people from Gapyong Council, and I welcoming them to visit here. I'd be happy to meet them. But because of the history that we have been through in the past, I am just thinking that if I could have a look at the prototype or a mock-up of the statue or whatever they are going to erect. I do not know what it is. I have seen there are some letters included, but if there are some letters included, like it reads, the proposed memorial is intended to acknowledge the participation and sacrifices of the Australian soldiers in key battles, including the Battle of Gapyong in 1951 during the Korean War. I have read that and I have read the rest of it, but I think...
Can I just say in the recommendation that number 3 says that Council prepare a Strathfield Korean Memorial Project Plan, including consultation plan and budget for presentation at a future Council meeting.
Yeah, I have seen that, but okay, I'm just in advance. I'm just in advance. I'm saying that maybe a prototype or a replica, something should be prepared, just not some words. That's all. The summary about it.
Photos.
Photos or a replica or a prototype or something like that.
It's what they send us, Councillor.
I haven't seen that.
And we haven't seen it either.
It's okay.
And it's apparently a very big stone. So it will be shipped here from South Korea, and you will get the weight, height, width, depth details before it arrives. Is that right?
No, that's if it is already done, then in my view, we have put the cart before the horse.
No, I don't think it has been done, but they've suggested that this type of thing be done. Is that correct, Mr. Memo? Yeah, sure.
Through you, Madam Mayor. So, the Gapyong County Council has written to us asking if we would be willing to accept a donation of a war memorial stone. The purpose of this recommendation is for Council to determine whether you would like to accept that donation. If you do endorse it, we would then be liaising back with Gapyong. But as part of doing that, we want to come back to the Council with options around potential locations and also take you through what's the size and the scale of the type of stone that this council would be willing to accept for a place that would be located within the Strathfield area. So there's a number of hurdles to go through and a fair bit of consultation that needs to occur before we're at the final stage of locking in the detail and then go and actually carve the stone from the rock at Gapyong.
So today we're endorsing their gift. So what we're doing tonight is this report is to endorse their gift to us as for a memorial stone to be put in Strathfield, but it's completely up to Council whether we do that or not. Councillor Hall.
I was just wondering whether we could just add on point 3 in the recommendation that the presentation be at a workshop first.
With the replica of the thing.
A replica as in a 3D replica?
It could be pictured. 3D is good, or a replica of the thing that we can measure the thing, at least what it would look like on the front, and if possible, yes, 3D.
Don't worry, Councillor Data, I am sure you will see this before it's even cut.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's it. That's the plan. as Mr Mamo just said, we are going to get the plan as soon as we endorse it in council tonight, that we are going to accept it. Then they can go forward and start planning and working with Strathfield in regard to the type of stone, design and weight. So we have no idea of what it's going to look like at this stage, but we want to just endorse it and to say to South Korea Gapyeon that we will accept their gift.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Truly appreciate that. But I also support what Councillor Nelawal mentioned, that a number of 0.4 should be added, saying that as a part of our consideration when they send us a package, a picture or a replica of the statue should come with it for us to consider. That's all.
Yes, and you will always receive that in a workshop, as we do with everything in this council, Councillor Dada.
You're wonderful, Madam Mayor.
I know. Thank you. Councillor Chai.
Through the Madam Chairs, I think I'm welcome, the sister cities to visit each other, to improve and communicate. But for the war memorial, stones, I just want to know how big of that, when we can fit in.
We don't know yet, Councillor Chai.
Do you know the size?
1 tonne. How many millas is 1
I think more than 1 ton. I can't remember exactly.
How many millas is 1 tonne?
Councillors, tonight is not about detail.
Okay.
Tonight is about the gift and whether we will endorse a gift to council. So we're going to be talking about details later. I'm sure they will send every bit of detail that we need about this stone. But tonight we just need to vote on whether we endorse it or not. Yes, sorry, Councillor.
Through you, Madam Mayor, probably just to address some of Councillor Chai's question. So in the report on page 119, the second last paragraph, what has been proposed is a 5 tonne stone built on a 1 tonne base. Now that's what's been proposed. Why would we would want to come back to a council workshop is to take you through the different options for you to consider, so that we can go back to Gapyeong in the future to say, well, yes, we're willing to accept the donation of the stone, but this is the size and the type that we would be willing to accept. So that's why I say there's a number of steps we still need to go through before we're at that stage of finalising or even having a final montage of what the stone might look like. Yep.
So should we
Put it on the flood zone.
in point number 2, should we change it to say that council endorse a proposal rather than the proposal, because the proposal is a 1 tonne, 5 tonne block of stone, whereas if we put a proposal, then we can come back and go, well, no, this is the size and
Correct.
So
We can change that
can
word.
we change the word to
A proposal. Yeah. That's a good point, Councillor. Okay, so I'm putting it to everyone. All in favour? Oh, sorry, Councillor Chai. One more question.
Madam Chairs, a question. No. Just one thing. I feel not very comfortable. Okay.
Sure.
Because in here is installing a Chinese advance. Here is pointing a country. I think this is past the war. We should remember we shouldn't have war. But I don't like to have the words Chinese in here because I'm from Chinese background.
Sorry, I'm lost. So
page 119.
Paragraph 5 on the page 19.
5, yeah?
Like we are at the beginning, we are acknowledgement, the Lunar New Year. We didn't say Chinese New Year because we got to use the neutral words.
Yes.
Okay, in here, I think we shouldn't appointing a particular enemy or something like that.
We can't change history.
I know,
Councillor Chai.
you could use the neutral words, whatever.
I don't know whether these words will be
You can
used.
say memory the people maybe seized in the war or something like that.
Councillor, can we get back to you on that one? Because I think we'll have to take that on notice and make sure that our wording could be looked at and maybe changed. Is that what we could do?
Look, I think, and again, to point 3 is we would work up any wording that would be erected on the memorial through that consultation process as well. So the report is merely giving an explanation of the background but the wording is something that we can work with
Correct.
councillors to get correct.
Thank you very much. Any further questions or statements, councillors? So I put it to you all in favour? Thank you, Mr McQuaid. So we go now to 335, CCS1, page 335, draft annual financial statements of the year. 335.
CCS one, did you say?
Sorry.
This is annual.
CCS1, 11. So, we had a very detailed,
No, we have pulled out CCS six.
did we?
Yes.
No?
I did mention that.
No, I ticked it, councillor.
Can you just briefly bring it up, because I
No,
did
I was-
mention. I did
I
mention.
think we've already put it through, councillor.
CCS six.
We'll have to recommit. Councillor,
Motion to recommit.
Councillor?
CCS six.
We're going to do that at the end. We'll
Okay,
recommit it
no
at the end.
No problem.
Thank you very much. So we're going to page 335, CCS11. So the recommendation, councillors, I need a mover for this, sorry. A mover, councillor Chai, seconded by councillor Reddy. Our recommendation for this, we had a very detailed report tonight at 5 o'clock from our Director of Finance, and it was very clear, and we all understand in how these finances are going to go forward. At this stage now, we need a nominated councillor, general manager and responsible accounting officer to sign the statement by councillors and management on the general purpose financial statements for the year ending 30 June 2023. That can go to the audit office. So I recommend that, well, I know that you have to sign it, Mr Mamo, and Mr Giovanni has to sign it as well. I will sign it, and I recommend that the Deputy Mayor sign it. Is everyone in favour of that? Thank you very much. So I have a mover, mover and seconder. So all in favour? Unanimous, thank you. So do we need to sign now, Rodney? Everyone's councillor tonight. You're a councillor, you're a councillor, you're a councillor. No. Oh, you're there. Oh. Thank you. So the next one is 426. So the next one, councillors, is page 426, CCS13.
I just neglected to make a declaration about this particular person. I'll make it
You
now.
have to make it now, councillor.
Yes, it's a non-significant, non-pecuniary. I'm regularly invited to the events of the recipient on the grant. I won't be leaving.
You leave the room?
I won't be.
You won't leave. No problem, thank you. Can you put that disclosure into...
I've missed another one, so after I do that one, I'll submit it.
Do you want to do them all together, or do you want to do them as they come up?
Just one.
All right, we'll do them as they come up, councillor. 426. Councillor Reddy is leaving.
I always invite.
What is this for? Oh, Tamil. I should declare it as well.
I think that's, we attend all the events, so I do attend, I'm just.
I do attend, but
I
I
do attend the events, but there is
attend
not.
as a councillor.
I know them.
Okay. Family connections.
We should leave it.
Look at the fact.
That one down somewhere.
426, so I can count. Right, councillors, I need a mover for this. Councillor
Which one?
CCS 13, page 426.
I can move it.
I'll second.
Councillor Chai moved it, Councillor Hall seconded. Any want to discuss, councillors? Anything to discuss?
I just think that it's the Tamil senior group. They have been there for many years. They do a very good job, and I do, along with other councillors, do attend their events time to time. And I think they are doing a wonderful job. So I appreciate the council granting the money. I was there.
Thank you, Councillor Data. I know that they will be very pleased with this grant because they put so much into their seniors groups, and they will be ecstatic when they see that they've received that. So all in favour, councillors? Thank you very much. Okay, someone call Councillor Reddy, please. 428. Now, I think we've got conflicts for Nella and Ben. Councillor Chai and Councillor Hall. Will you be leaving the room?
You don't have to.
Through the many chairs, I'm just seeking advice whether I'm stay or leaving.
Up to you, councillor. So what's your conflict?
And the resident is located in the PR cards. It's not far from there.
Okay.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Chai, this is about the specific property at 3 to 5 Bridge Road. So it's not,
Nowhere near.
it is within the PR Cuts frame, but it's not related to the PR Cuts master plan. So, do you need, I think you need to make the decision about your conflict of interest as to whether you do have one or you don't. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I need a mover for this, councillors. A mover, Councillor Reddy, seconder, Councillor Data. Anyone need to speak on this? No? All in favour? Thank you. Call them back in from the bathroom. The next one is 486. During Councillor Mahastro. Raj, you're staying.
That's my paper.
486. What time is it? I can't even remember. You're out. You're way out. Yeah, that's okay. We can wait.
No, she's staying out of the chamber.
Oh, is she? Did she put a disclosure in? She did. Did she put one in for 486? PE2? Oh, she did. Okay. All right, councillors.
Mayor, I'm just saying that I'm a bit confused too with this particular item because one of the reasons I say that where I live, my residential property is, I am absolutely not sure whether it is falls under 800 meters or not. I'm not sure. So that's why I put this in conflict of interest in, and I'm not really sure. So I think for being safe side, I better stay outside as well.
Well, we won't have a quorum.
Well,
Yeah, sure. Mr. Memo.
because the others, yeah. Sorry.
Through you, Madam Mayor. So just to try and help councillors with thinking about their conflicts of interest, because this is quite a tricky one. So yes, you do have a pecuniary interest where you own property. However, where it is your residential property and it's your primary place of residence, there are special exemptions where you are permitted to stay in the room, because otherwise we would run the risk for all these types of matters of not having a quorum for the purpose of decision making. So because we are not dealing with site-specific detail as part of this report, we're dealing with the submission in this case on the policy position. You are, if it is only your residential property and it is your primary residential property, yes, declare it as a pecuniary, but you are able to stay in the room for the purpose of this matter, as long as you stay at the strategic level with your discussion and don't go down into the specifics of your location.
And vote.
Yep.
Yeah, you're allowed to vote, because this is about the submission that we put through to the state government.
Correct. Yeah, this is, and to be fair, I am still not sure whether my property falls under it or not.
We will find out, Councillor.
Thank you.
We will make sure we know before the next council meeting, so you know where you
Council
stand.
election and put it in the Sydney Morning Herald on the front face.
Yes. Okay, so page 486, councillors, I need a mover. Councillor Reddy? And I'll second it, just to get this moving. So this is the submission that went into, the draft submission that went into the New South Wales local government. Explanation of the intended effect changes to create low and mid-rise housing. All in favour? I'll give it to you.
If I can make a comment, please.
Oh, Councillor Dada.
Thank you.
You weren't even going to stay in the room, but
No,
that's okay.
well, if I get the opportunity, I will ask it. A question, what's the point of staying here and spending my time if I am not going to ask any questions? Only nodding heads, that's not me, as you know. So I think, firstly, I would comment, I went through the details and I would comment, I think it's a very good report, and whoever prepared it, so I would say, well done. Jim, through you, very good. And the second point, I think, from my understanding, the whole point is, I know that there is an attachment too, but the whole point is, I think we are looking at page 487. Essentially, we are putting down points 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's essentially what we are proposing at the top level. Just through the chair.
Through the chair to the general manager. Say that again, councillor.
487, essentially we are at the summary level, we are talking about point 1, 2.
Is this in the key considerations?
That's correct.
Yes. So
That's essentially what we are doing.
that the proposed housing reforms be deferred until such time that council can complete the MDHS? Correct.
Yeah. The only thing I was just saying that it is not talking about the master plan. So should we put a reference, I'm just asking a suggestion to the GM, to the chair, that should we point that the department has taken a responsibility to do the master plan, should we articulate that clearly in this submission? That's all I'm also.
Thanks, Mr. Memory.
Through you, Madam Mayor. So if you go to the attachment to the report, which is the actual submission that's been lodged on page 535. So that's the letter that has been submitted in draft form to the department. At the top there's specific references there to the Homebush transport-oriented development precinct. And I think that specifically talks to the work that the department is doing with our own planning team around the master planning for that area that is north of the Homebush station. And it does make particular references to the increased number of dwellings. I think it talks in the vicinity of 3,500 dwellings, which is in the order of a 19% increase on our current housing supply.
To the chair, I think what the GM is referring to is this will see the delivery of a new master plan by the end of 2024. That's okay, if that is suffices the condition. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. Thank you for being so detailed. Okay, putting it to everyone, all in favour? Thank you. So we may have to get councillors, oh, hang on. Are they staying out or staying in? So the next one is the local planning panel, so we need them back in.
To go again.
Local Planning Panel Councillors, page 569, PE4, Strathfield Local Planning Panel, confirmation of interim arrangements. So the recommendation is, I need a mover for this. Councillor Data, seconded by Councillor Chai. So the recommendation is that Council endorses the appointment of the following panellists to the Strathfield Local Planning Panel on an interim basis until June. So we can see the participants there. Anyone need to talk on this, councillors?
Madam Mayor,
Councillor Data, a lot of energy tonight.
the one thing that I wanted to make an amendment on point 3, if I could, please.
Point 3?
Yeah. The commencement, David, if you are listening to, please. The commencement of an expression of interest process to select replacement community representatives. After that, with appropriate updating and consultation with councillors.
Can't do that, Councillor Data, because this is an operational thing. We can't get involved.
But we can get the updates. We can definitely get an update, like before they are that is implemented.
So, one moment, and I'm going to have that addressed. Can you just take a seat?
Madam Mayor, item 4 of the recommendation is that a further report be brought back to June 2024 council meeting with the endorsement of all of the proposed members of the panel. So the community reps would be selected on, through the EOI process, and the expert members will be selected from a list provided by the Minister for Planning.
Right, and it'll come to council to be endorsed.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. Madam Mayor, so my understanding from this point is there would be an EOI that would be publicly exhibited
Advertised.
on the council or somewhere.
Yeah.
And from that, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, councillor. Any further discussion, councillors? Councillor Mahesri?
Can I just ask how the community representatives that are proposed to be appointed on an interim basis have been chosen?
They're already through the general manager to Ms. Marley.
My understanding is that the community representatives who we are going to thank for their service have already been on the panel for 6 years or more, and therefore they're no longer eligible. Community reps are still able to be on the panel.
All good? Thank you, everyone. So I put it to you, all in favour? Very amicable tonight. Okay, page 572, the New South Wales Government Transport Orientated Development Program, Accelerated Precincts in Homebush. So Councillor Hall.
A new one that I didn't previously declare at the beginning of the meeting. I act for a charity whose director owns a company, was a director of a company that also owns property that may or may not be in this precinct, and if it was, if they were to own that property, it would be a significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest, and for that reason I'll be up.
Thank you very much.
I'll just send this up.
Just give it to Okay, so page 572, PE5. I need a mover for that. Councillor Reddy. I need a seconder. Councillor Data. We all falling asleep? Are we all awake? Yep. Thank you, guys. So have you read the recommendation? The council's acknowledged the inclusion of Homebush as an accelerated precinct with the transit-orientated development program, and that Strathfield Council continue to actively participate in the program. And it continues on with the details of why we should do that. So does anyone need to discuss any of this? Any comment? No further comments, so I put it to you, councillors. All in favour? Thank you very much. That. Can they come back in now? Yes. Amanda's getting over it. 576. She's gone to the bathroom again.
Not hiding the bathroom?
Okay. 577. E01 draft vehicle crossing driveway and associated works policy. I need a mover for this. Councillor Data. I need a seconder. Councillor Chai. So the recommendation is that council place the draft vehicle crossing driveway and associated works policy on public exhibition, and that should council receive negligible feedback, that council delegate for the general manager to finalise the vehicle crossing driveway and associated works policy. Any discussion, councillors? Councillor Hall.
I have a question. So I'm just wondering, on page 583, 2.7, shared and adjoining vehicle crossings.
83.
In my 7 years on council, I actually have come across a couple of driveways that are connecting, that right next to each other, and with some disputes. So I'm just wondering if the policy has a dispute resolution option in there, or how it would deal with a dispute resolution. Through the chair.
Through the chair to, sorry, I'm falling asleep. Through the chair to the Director of Planning. Sorry, Engineering.
Through you, Madam Mayor. I believe section 2.7 speaks to where a vehicle crossing falls across more than one property, and it would still require approval by council staff. If you feel that this is a matter of, I guess, significance, we could look to put in a dispute resolution section within the policy if you think that would assist.
I do, because at least even if we put in there any regulatory places that they could go to. So any I don't know, is there a neighbour tribunal or something that they can go to? That way they can actually look at it and go, oh yeah, they can go here. I mean, I don't know if there is or if there isn't, but there probably needs to be something in there, because like I said, in the last 7 years I've come across it a couple of times.
Driveway ombudsman.
I don't know. I mean, if it's the tribunal, if it's NCAT, if it's district court, I don't know. Local court, it wouldn't be the district court, but...
So what you're saying is, councillor, so when this comes back from exhibition and we have to put it through, we'll get the Director of Engineering and Operations to see if we can put something up.
And in-house counsel.
And in-house counsel can be our ombudsman in that section. Okay, any further discussion, councillors? No? I'm calling it. All in favour? Unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay. No, give me 1 second. Anyone? Yeah. One did Raj, one did What is it? So, Councillor Data, you need to move to recommit CCS6. And why? The OLG guidelines for risk management and internal. I move, yep.
Thanks again.
No, councillor. We have to agree to recommit it. So if you could just give us the reason why you need to recommit.
I need to
you need to discuss.
Yeah, I need to discuss it.
Okay, so I need a mover and a seconder to recommit this motion. So we're moving that by councillor Data, a seconder by councillor Hall. All in favour? Thank you. Now, so we've recommended CCS 6, councillor Data. We need a mover and a seconder. Mover?
Yes.
Yes. Seconder, councillor Hall. Thank you.
I have a question, a small question is, it is talking about, on item 1, it is talking about ARIC by retaining the long-standing chair until 30th of June 2025, noting that this will mean council is non-compliant with the guidelines. So what my question is that, what is the non-compliance implemented and how we get around that?
Right. Mr. Namo, can you answer that question?
Through you, Madam Mayor. I will attempt to answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
So, the new guidelines for the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee, I think they were finally endorsed or approved by the Office of Local Government in December, or late last year, if that's correct. What that requires is it puts limitations on the term of the membership for the Audit and Risk Committee. And it also sets new guidelines for the composition of the Audit and Risk Committee. Now, the specific requirement that we would become non-compliant with is no member of the committee can serve for longer than 8 years. Okay. We currently have 3 independent members on the committee, 2 of which have been long-serving members. I think of around 10 years they're approaching now. And we have 1 member who has only been serving since late last year. I'm going to say around September, October last year. The risk that poses for us is if we were to lose the 2 independent members that have been serving for 10 years, there hasn't been sufficient time for that knowledge transfer to occur and for that continuity of the work that's been undertaken by the Audit and Risk Committee. So there are specific provisions within the regulations around the transition to the new Audit and Risk Committee, where there is the ability to be non-compliant, and that's based on council satisfying itself that there are extenuating circumstances, which we believe in this situation applies. To comply with that part of the regulation, we then need to notify the Office of Local Government of the non-compliance and the arrangements that we're proposing to put in place to manage that. So in this circumstance, we're proposing that we retain the current chair, who is willing to stay on for another 12 months through to June 2025. We will go out immediately to appoint 2 new independent members, so we would have 4 independent members sitting on the panel up until June 2025. During that period, the current chair would then transition the responsibilities over to a new chair, and then the current chair would cease to be a member of the committee from the end of June 2025. The other requirement that we are required to meet due to the non-compliance is we need to report this in our annual report as well.
Is that clear, Councillor Donna?
Thanks, Madam Mayor, that's very good. Thank you. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the GM and the relevant officer again for taking the initiative to create an audit and risk management framework, which I understood they are taking. And I want to put that on record that At the beginning of the year, I was a member of the risk committee and I inquired about the framework because this is the most fundamental thing, and that was not successful under the chair of that time. It was and I could not realize, I could not understand how a risk and audit committee could function without having a risk management framework in place. So I thank the current GM for taking the initiative. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. So we go to number 13 on our agenda item, questions with notice. We don't have any. Sorry, we didn't vote. Oh, we didn't vote, Councillor Data. So any further discussion on CCX 6? No? So I put it to you, councillors, all in favour? A unanimous vote, thank you, Mr McQuaid. So questions with notice is nil. Matters of urgency? Nothing. Oh, I look trepidantly. Confidential matters I don't think are now necessary. They've been dealt with. So, there being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 8 p.m.